This is the blooper episode.
This is the blooper episode. Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. The Teal Mask has been out for 2 days. This is our first impressions. My name is Dusty Go-Go. With us today, we've got Soul Silver Art.
What's up?
And Lumios Post.
Hello, I'm experiencing deja vu.
Yeah, so we just recorded over an hour of content, and one of the mics wasn't plugged in, so we're going to do the whole thing over.
This is good because I forgot to do this on the episode. I have something to say before we begin.
Okay, what is it?
Silver Art, I formally issue you an apology.
Oh my god. No.
In Scarlet and Violet, Gligar now gets access to the move Crabhammer.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the verdict has been reached. Gligar
It's a crab.
Is a crab.
It's a crab. Man, that's crazy.
It's a crab, though. but
Well,
yeah,
you're on the wrong side then, Soul.
no apology necessary. It's just
Where do you guys want to start? So how?
first impression.
Yeah, first impressions.
Where we're at.
How did you get the game? Did you play it right away?
I got the game for us, we're all East Coast people, so we got the game at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. So the day before it was technically supposed to release or whatever. And I picked it up. I got to Kitakami. I ran around for 30 minutes, picked up items, looked at Pokemon, but I didn't have my home mons yet. And I also knew, like, if I get too far into this, I'm going to be up all night playing this game, and that's not good for me. So I then went to bed, and I woke up the next morning, transferred my home mons in, and then jumped into the story, and I ended up beating it yesterday. I've beaten the main story, so the stuff involving Ogerpon and the Loyal 3. I have not caught the Loyal 3 yet. I have also not done anything with the Ursaluna other than talk to Perrin and like battle her to see if
It's
I'm
so
worthy.
cool. Ursaluna is
I'm
so
excited
cool.
to do it. It's definitely on my to-do list today.
So what I did was I caught Ursaluna. I pretty much spent the whole game first exploring, and then I transferred over a bunch of home Pokemon for my living decks to complete the decks and to get access to that mission. I did the mini game where you get the berries, which I heard you can get a shiny Munchlax out of that. That's kind of cool. I might try to get that later, but I did that, and I also went and story-wise went as far as I think the first festival. So I saw Ogerpon. And he's adorable. It's so cute. I thought it was gonna be like
she's a she.
whatever.
Female only, yeah.
Is it really?
Female only, bro.
Ogerpon is
No.
female only? No,
It's 100% female.
that's so cool.
And the Loyal 3
There has to be a story
are
there
all
then.
100% male.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
That has.
That is the
Including Pheasantipity, which I was a little like about, but then I learned that Pheasantipity was since it's it's very colorful and like beautiful and all, but that's because in bird species those are the males.
True.
Yeah, you should know that, dude.
True.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was
So-
on me.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. So is there like a line? Is there like a correlation there with the story that Ogerpon and the three beasts are like based on, like is there a correlation there with one of the Japanese folktales?
I mean, if you no
No.
Is there not? I have no idea.
no
Zach's like,
there's
no.
not I tried
Okay,
to,
all
I
right.
tried to make one, but I don't know where I was going with that, and I don't think we need to find out.
That's
All right.
great. Me in the story, I am, as you would expect, at the very beginning, because I want Blood Moon Ursaluna spoilers on my team for the main story. So I am catching Pokemon. I did not finish the Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet decks. So I only had 86 Pokemon, and now I'm at 116. I've literally just
Not
been
bad though. I
No,
only
I
had
know.
like 120, and that was after transferring home mons in.
No, it's really not bad. It's not locked behind something so bad. I just expected it to be like, you have to go and take this many pictures. I expected like a cool mini game. I mean, I think there is one, but it's like really small compared to what I was expecting.
The mini game is short.
I'm kind of like more like, oh, why do we have to do like a catch-a-thon to get this Pokemon? But I guess it's more to do in the DLC. To me, like the reason I'm really not bringing my home Pokemon over to just like register them is so that I can actually have a lot to do in this DLC, which is go catch all these Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I probably would not finish this dex either. You know what
Well,
I
that's
mean?
yeah.
I wouldn't.
No, you got to for the glimmering charm. You get all the Pokemon in the dex, you get a glimmering charm, which makes Terra Shard drops from raids like more plentiful.
Oh, that's cool.
That's not just good. That is needed.
That's great.
It's
that is
needed. For
needed.
competitive.
Okay. I got the EXP charm. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I need that too.
Yeah,
Which
that's
you
gonna
get, like,
help you. Yeah, you get it right away. That's gonna help you.
You have to get it story wise because they make you do a game of Ogre Oustin.
It all kind of worked out for my team in the end because, like, I brought in like a level 1 Applin and a level 1 shiny Girafarig.
I know that level 1 Applin was bodied by Yama.
Well, no, I couldn't use them. I just like literally. I mean, the first Pokemon I beat, it went all the way to level 15 in one shot. So, you know what I mean? It's like, like all the way.
Yeah.
So it worked out that I'm catching all these Pokemon because I don't have to use them. And I just am getting experience from catching the Pokemon. So in the end, it kind of all went the right way. But I was a little upset about the Loyal 3 being locked behind the story. I figured Ogerpon, right? Because I'm like, it's the main legendary, whatever.
I mean, the whole story that they told us was that we're going to get the Loyal 3 and then use them to battle Ogerpon. That's what I understood.
They really just trolled us so hard because, like, how are you going to, for me, this is my thought process in this. And I put out a tweet and so many people are hating me for it, but I'm just like, this is why, okay? I expected them, one, maybe not to be legendaries, but also they started in February with showing us the Loyal 3 and Ogerpon. And it's like, okay, those are the Pokemon of this DLC. We're going to use them, right? Like, I mean, maybe not Ogerpon because he's the main bad guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's
the main bad
I
girl.
like that a little bit. Honestly, I like that. That's cool.
I mean, I like the twists and everything. Why are you going to give us all these Pokemon, like the bulk of the DLC Pokemon, and not let us use them until after?
And truthfully, I'm not even enjoying the new Pokemon. Like Poltergeist is cute.
Poltergeist and Dipplin are
I don't want to evolve it, but because I'm not going to evolve it, it's not very strong. And then Dipplin, I feel like, I mean, actually, it's been confirmed. Dipplin works with Eviolite. I don't know if you guys knew that. Dipplin works with Eviolite, suggesting that the leak is true, that it will evolve again.
Well,
so I feel like it's not fully evolved, and I don't want to use it.
So it is coded in game to be able to evolve further. There's just no way to access it yet, similar to Stantler.
What's a stubbed evolution?
That's where the Pokemon, like Stantler has one, Ursaring has one, all the Hisuiemons basically have one, the Hisui evolutions. There are some exceptions like Basculin and Sneasel. But basically it is where in the coding they are coded to evolve. So it's coded Ursaring can evolve into Ursaluna. But the issue is there's no way to get a Peat Blocks. There's no way to, there's no full moon mechanic coded into the game. So while Ursaring is coded to evolve into Ursaluna, the method of evolution is not coded into the game.
There's a disconnect
likewise,
there.
Dipplin's the same thing. We can see that it evolves into something, but there's currently no evolution method for it.
Have we ever seen that like in the past? I guess kind of. I guess like in Fire Red Leaf Green, you couldn't evolve things until post game, right? I don't really know if that counts.
That would probably be the closest example.
This has to be a mistake, but it feels intentional. So
I think it was intentional.
Yeah.
What the Dipplin using Eviolite?
Yeah. I mean, because it's something they would have to go back and because like if they didn't do that, then an Indigo Disc they would have to go back and change it to do that. It's just easier to put it in, and it's a very obscure because truthfully too, if it wasn't for Datamine finding a stubbed evolution, and if it wasn't for leaks suggesting who would think? Because Applin has 2 other evolutions, and they stop there. So who would sit there and think, you know what, I should try putting... nobody's sitting here going, let's put an Eviolite on Okidogi to see if it can evolve. Because there's no reason to think it can, Yeah,
but people are thinking that because of the leaks, so...
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if I think it was intentional, because Game Freak, if it wasn't for leaks, would not have had anything to worry about.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the episode that got deleted, but Zach is going to go to regionals, whatever, and he's going to get on stream, and he's going to use a Diplin with Eviolite, and the commentators are gonna be shook. They're gonna be like,
"You're gonna get ejected. You're gonna be the next Twitter story."
Is he using the Eviolite?
I actually first regionals, and I managed to bring it completely home and win it. And they walk up to me, "We're not giving you the win. We know what you did.
You know what you did."
So Wolf Glick, they love you. Justin Tang, any of the VGC people, let them know. Bring a Diplin with Eviolite.
Use
Two worlds.
That's
use
so
it.
funny.
Let's see if they address that an Eviolite works on it.
Because it's like a literal leak. Game Freak leaking it themselves, man.
I mean, they've done that in the past.
They've done it before,
right?
They've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if it's intentional or not. Anyway, it's neither really here nor there. We'll talk on it more.
I mean, because like another thing too is they at the very beginning, they like right off the bat, they drop that Blueberry Academy is located in Unova. They drop that, which by the way, fun fact, Dusty did not know that, but happened to leak it in the first first episode that Dusty and I spoke about. The Unova Soul was in Italy at the time. But Dusty and I were talking about Unova remakes, and Dusty proposed the idea that Blueberry Academy could be in Unova, and Soul later was cheeky and said Dusty just leaked something. Well,
I appreciate the credit.
He didn't even know that he leaked it. Yeah, I know. He did.
That was
Dusty and I were like, "What did we leak?"
I mean, I don't even remember like my original thought process with that, but it does make sense. It was more of like a what if, like if we're going back to Unova, what if this is off the coast? I think it makes sense because if it and it's not based on the Azores, but my thought process was if it was, in the Pokemon universe, Spain and the U.S. or New York could actually be like a lot closer. The ocean between it could be a lot closer.
Yeah,
that was kind of my thought process.
Logically makes sense. But then it's just like the huge fact that it is Unova. It's not just like off of Unova. It is part of Unova. Yeah.
Which is weird because it's not like Unova isn't the United States, even though it kind of is, but it's supposed to be based off of New York. So it's like what is it?
Is Japan. It's a part of Japan.
It's an artificial island.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say though, one thing that Briar talks about in the game is that her goal is to find a way for Terrastal to exist in regions outside of Paldea and Kitakami. That is big.
And we see a little bit of that. Do we see that a little bit? Because I think there's Area 0 stones or terrestrialization stones in the center of Kitakami. That's like what we see, right? It's underwater. Yeah,
and they explain that's why Kitakami Terrastal exists there. But like Briar even says, like she thinks that pool could be like the key to making it exist in other regions.
Yeah,
and like she talks about that's her goal. That is huge for Unova remakes, in my opinion. Because huge.
And I always go back to it, like in the middle of Unova, there's this big circle. It's like the Intralink, is that what it's called?
Intralink, yeah.
And you never really go there, or I don't think you go there.
You don't go there for the story. No, it's like all online or connecting to other people's games, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would love a retcon and just make that like a new Area 0 of some sort, right? And then
that would be the perfect place to, if there is some kind of plot that's going to span over to those games, that would be the perfect place for them to start to like, okay, we're going to try to create Terrastal phenomenon from this place. And then you have the final battle be the Interlink. It's very unexplained. It's very mysterious. It's something that Game Freak very easily could turn into a heavy piece of lore. I could 100% see them going that route.
Yeah, well, let's bring it back to Teal Mask and our first impressions. For me, I'm starting to like really appreciate the national dex cut. Like obviously there's a false scarcity there where it's like, you could put them all in the game, but they are doing a great job making these designs look good, or the Pokemon models look good. But I honestly have been more excited, and I'll show you my team later. I'm more excited for the returning Pokemon and seeing them in the overworld. It's so charming to see these old Pokemon return than even the new Pokemon, right? The Pokemon that have been in the promotional cycle forever. I saw a Sandshrew, and I was like, it's adorable.
I was more excited seeing Jangmo-o in the game than I was seeing Poltergeist.
100%.
Yeah, because they really have. We touched on it, but it's like they totally are remaking or redoing some of the older models, and they just look good, and they don't get enough credit for it. Like
the curse of Sky Battles is no longer hanging over us.
Dude, the fact that the crab Gligar, its arms are like down when it walks around, right? Even Clauncher, Or no, not Clauncher. Crawdont.
That is a crab. Or that's a trap.
Its arms are like so like you can see the weight on their arms, right? Everything's not like a 3D animation. It doesn't look like things used to look like action figures in the game.
I think Game Freak really listened to like a lot. I mean, and the fans have been complaining about it forever. But like the whole
10
like,
years
models thing. So I think they're really trying to improve their 3D models of the Pokemon. Especially older ones. So it's just all the textures and the different stances and all that. They look so good. Like Macargo's like glowing.
Dude.
Oh yeah, it has incredible. Like steam coming off it.
It's so cool, dude. And we talked about this for like 30 minutes on the Lost episode. We finally have a Lost episode.
The Lost episode.
Like, right? We talked about it for so long, but like I want to go back and replay Kitakami, right? I want to go back and play through the Teal Mask in another playthrough, right? Maybe starting from the beginning of Scarlet and Violet, and then after getting a couple badges, go to Kitakami, see how the levels kind of match up with wherever I am in the game. It does feel like an extension, right? I think our main point was that the Teal Mask, even though there's maybe like 2 or 3 storylines in the Teal Mask, it really does feel like a traditional open world RPG DLC where it's like it's another quest line, right? It's something where like if you were to start a new file of Scarlet and Violet, what you could do is say, you know what? I did a lot of the Titans. I want to do a new quest line. Let's go to Kitakami, and you go through that, right? And I think the Indigo Disc is going to play very similarly.
And it's very well, but the thing with the Indigo Disc is, with Indigo Disc, you do have to beat Scarlet and Violet's main story, and you have to beat the Teal Mask's main story in order to access it.
Okay, so that'll be different.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit different. But I mean, on that note, like it feels different from Paldea.
So different.
It's a different vibe. Like I found myself at one point like realizing I was riding Koraidon, and that kind of hit me. Oh yeah, this is Pokemon Scarlet.
Yeah.
If I love that too. I think
part of me wishes it was like a different Pokemon. Part of me was like, right, a little bit.
I like that it.
Like, what if you ride Ursaluna?
Like the first moment where it like Kieran meets your Koraidon or Miraidon, like it was like, oh, Miraidon's here with me. Like I kind of liked it like that, and he's like, this is my cool robot Pokemon.
Yeah. He's like, who is that?
Is this thing? I'm like,
I don't know if he does this in Violet, but for Scarlet, he goes, "Is that a kaiju?"
Yeah, he does say that.
He does.
Yeah,
which is epic.
And I'm like, this is my ride.
Yeah, it's cool that they did that. I went back to Paldea for
multiple
reasons, but the one time I went into like the hair changing salon thing, and she said something in Spanish, and I was like, what in the world is this? Why am I hearing Spanish?
Why are you speaking Spanish in Japan?
And then I was like, oh yeah, Paldea, not Kitakami. And so like it is interesting how they did it.
I think it's
some really small details to hammer that home too. Is when you fly to a new location in Kitakami, it shows in the bottom right screen, instead of the Corviknight taxi, it's a Noctowl taxi.
Yeah, I did notice that. There's a Dragonite too.
When you fly between them, it shows the airplane with a Dragonite fly up and then like fly by.
We all have representation.
Legend Shoto?
Yeah.
Legend Shoto?
Oh man, I'm loving it so much. I think another really cool point that we kind of had like a realization in the last episode is that we kind of wish there was more legends to discover in Kitakami, right? I think there was a lot of missed opportunities, whether it's Celebi or the Johto beasts, right? Maybe the Kanto birds, any sort of legendary Pokemon that would be from Hoenn, Kanto, Johto, or Sinnoh, right? Those Japanese-inspired Pokemon regions. Why would a couple of them not be roaming Kitakami? That's what I would think. But we had the
legendary beast just because of the paradoxes in the Indigo Disc. So they're gonna probably want those to be the same.
Well, yeah, and Dusty, you had said it in the last episode, like that is lost forever. That it would be neat if Kitakami or Blueberry Academy had us go back to Kitakami to chase down these these legendary Pokemon, these like the beasts, and then had us go back to Paldea to chase down.
We could get a phone call that says, "Hey, we saw some like weird Pokemon. You want to go check them out?" And then it's like, you also got to think about like players who are playing Scarlet and Violet for the first time, right? We might know a lot of the Paradox Pokemon for what they are, right? We might know that, like, oh, this is a paradox and it resembles this Pokemon.
Right.
But what if you're playing through the game for the first time and you discover Walking Wake, right? And then later in the game, in the post game, they're like, oh, check out these roaming Pokemon, and then you find Suicune, and you're like, why does it look so similar, right?
Yeah, I mean that's true. This Scarlet and Violet is some kids and adult, frankly, someone's first game, and so they're going to see Walking Wake, and they're going to go, wow, that's a cool Pokemon. Then later they're going to see Suicune, they're going to go, hey, it's a Pokemon based off of Walking Wake.
Yeah. I think also it's really special. This is on the same point. I think it's really special that this DLC is in another region, right? And I keep wondering, like what could these DLCs look like in the future? Are we going to get a Gen 10 game where all of a sudden they start bouncing around and they're like, let's give you a little piece of Hoenn, right? Let's give us that you've never seen before. Let's give you a little piece of southern.
I didn't think about that.
Of southern France
that are on that are Kanto. Like this is the Kanto region, but it's not.
We could go back to Kalos for real one day.
That's what I'm saying.
They've done that before, right? Because like Johto, in the Johto games, you go across that water route and he tells you, "Hey, you're now in the Kanto region."
And you're like, "I've never seen this before."
Right, that route is not in Kanto, the Kanto games rather. So they could do that. That would be, oh man, dude, that would be so sick.
Doesn't that make you like kind of excited?
The on the region thing. This was kind of also going back to how like different it is from Paldea. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but if it is daytime in Paldea, it's nighttime in Kitakami. Like if you fly between them, they show time zones.
Oh, that's cool.
That is so like such a small thing that goes such a long way for me.
I didn't even notice that. That's so cool. If you're enjoying this episode, please consider supporting Hidden Power on Patreon or YouTube channel members. Right now, we have 4 tiers, and the lowest membership starts at just $5 a month. Supporters get access to our secret Discord server and help control the direction of the podcast. Supporters also get access to our archive of bonus episodes.
Okay, so our Discord, honestly, is popping. We have other creators in there, too, which is kind of fun. It ain't just the 3 of us. We're discussing leaks when they drop. We talk about news. We'll be talking about how Soul Silver art has, just garbage takes.
It's so much fun.
It's a place for us to connect.
I'm in there every day. Also, we have revamped our merch store. So proud of every product that is in this store now. We have stickers, t-shirts, mugs, ball caps, right? The dad caps. These ball caps are embroidered. Look at this. It's literally an embroidered.
So clean.
You cannot get anything more high quality than that.
I just got news. Do y'all hear that? Bulbasaur says that he even has his own merch.
I'll talk for him. It's beautiful. Very cool designs. You guys should check it out.
Very Japanese style.
Even the front of the shirt has a unique logo.
I'm getting one for sure.
If you're invested in this show, invest in the show. Thank you so much for watching, and now back to the video. Yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool possibilities that this DLC has kind of like opened up to me. But this is supposed to be our first impression. So, what Pokemon are you guys playing through the game with right now?
Dusty, you want to start us off? You started us off last time.
Yeah, when we lost the episode, I was in the middle of describing my team, so I'll go a little bit quicker. So like I said, I wanted to go through Kitakami with like something from Paldea. I chose Skeledirge, which was my starter. It was like level 92. That was like strong enough to kind of be like the backbone of the team because I didn't really know what the levels were going to be like.
Ash bringing his Charizard to Johto.
Exactly. And then I also brought my reclaimed shiny Espathra. It's called Quick Feet. Got it in a fastball. Super pumped about that. That was like level 40, so I leveled that up a little bit. But as soon, like I said, I found right after disrespecting the entire line on last week, I found a shiny Vulpix, which was so cool. And I was live streaming, and the chat was like, "You got to name it Soul Silver." So I got his approval. We named it Soul Silver. It looks so good. This is what I'm saying. Ninetales has such potential, but it being like this like cream color, I really don't like that color. But this is nice. I like this.
Give it an ability patch.
What ability does it have right now?
Probably Flash Fire.
Yeah, it has Flash Fire. What's
give
good?
It an ability patch. It'll make it Drought.
Is Drought better?
Much better.
Drought is much better. It sets up Sun.
All right, I'll do that. And then
turn solar beams and boosted fire moves.
That is true. I have Energy Ball on it right now, so that would be pretty sick. All right, that's a good move. All right, that's a good idea. And then I got and then I saw a Poliwag, and I was like, that is so sick. Poliwag looks so good. Poliwhirl looks so good. So I traded over a shiny, and then I decided to evolve it into Poliwrath. I usually go for Politoad, but I think Poliwrath looks really good in this game. It looks strong. It's got its arms out. It's not perpetually like in a fighting position, which I like. So that's been a good mainstay on the team. And then also I found while digging through my home boxes, my first shiny from X and Y. I think it was actually before the shiny charm, so it was full odds at the time, which is like one of 4K. Doesn't matter. It's a memory. And it's a shiny Victory Bell.
That's actually a really cool shiny. I never realized that.
It's a really good one.
I love how Victory Bell looks in this game. It's
but not Weeping Bell.
No,
never
Slips
Weeping Bell.
are bad.
Never Weeping Bell.
Lips, bro.
This thing's got blue lips. It's cold, because it's weak to ice type. So those are the, it's turning into a Kanto team. We were talking about Kanto, and it is turning into a Kanto team. I got those 3. I've got a Spathra. I did get my Dream Ball Blood Moon Ursaluna, which looks so dope, so incredible. So this is finally on my team. I can progress through the game. And then another Pokemon just to kind of be the backbone. It's a level 93. Not Skeledirge, because I don't want to overshadow Ninetales, but it's a Qianpao. And I think it looks so good in this game. It's also fun to like have a mission. Yeah, it's like it's fun to like have a purpose for the Pokemon other than just like post game, if that makes sense. Right? Yeah. Like I can play with it in Kitakami.
Yeah. That's how I felt about a lot of, I mean, I can segue to my team easily.
Yeah, that was my team.
Yeah. Like I wanted to use Okidogi and the Blood Moon Ursaluna, but there's things I have to do before that. So I had to like make
Okidogi. You have to beat the whole thing to do that.
Yeah, I have to beat the whole thing. So Okidogi's going on my Indigo Disc team now. But Ogerpon might be on my final team. Anyway, this is about our current teams.
Yeah.
I brought Iron Moth and Iron Thorns because I wanted to use them. Because you can only use them for like an hour in the post game of Scarlet and Violet, so I use them, and they've been the backbone. Yeah, they've been the backbone of my team because they're strong enough to be there, which is great. They were like level 54 each, and it was I have like the perfect level thing going on. So they're there, and then I have the Applin, which I'm going to evolve into Diplin very soon. It's already at like level 30 something. All of the Pokemon I've been catching, and same with Girafarig. That actually, it just evolved into Giraffe. The shiny is so beautiful. And then the last one I have right now is actually Baxcalibur. You know what I realized about Baxcalibur is I'm not the biggest fan as much as the in-game model of it. Arctibax is way better.
Arctibax is so freaking good.
It's so much better. I had the Arctibax for a while, and I'm like, do I want
the way he like hunches over like a little raptor? Oh,
he's a little lizard boy.
I know. He is genuinely. He probably is the best middle stage pseudo.
Yeah, I'd have to think about it, but probably.
I think it'd be like
might be his competition.
It's ripe for like a cross evolution.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Baxcalibur, I like its face, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like Baxcalibur. It's just, it's from the back model that you see all the time. Yeah. Like it's weird, like fat, and then like a tiny little skinny tail. I think it's just a model issue.
Yeah.
But it's not great in the model to me. And I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, but I had to do it because
I've seen TCG art. That helps it.
Yeah. No, I like Baxcalibur. Don't get me wrong, please. It's just the model's weird. What I was going to say is I had to use it because I can't use Okidogi, and I needed a false swiper, and Arctibax doesn't learn false swipe. So I was like, okay, I have to evolve it to Baxcalibur to let it know false swipe. So that's that. I think that's my whole team. No, and I'm missing Blood Moon still. I'm just
you'll get that though.
I thought you had a Spidops at some point.
I was gonna use Spidops as my false swiper, but Spidops is so bad. Right, I can't use it as my false swiper because it just dies even to like Pokemon, and I'm just like, man.
What level's it at?
This one, so my original one is like 70 something.
Oh wow,
or something.
That's the one you should have brought because it's garbage. So
I know, but I didn't want to use it again, so I was like, I'll use it shiny because I have a shiny one.
Yeah.
So I went to use it shiny, but that's only like level 30, and I'm like, I'm gonna get owned. So I need a false swiper, so I picked Excalibur. So. That's that.
That's a pretty good team. I like that.
I do have one really crazy confession, and that is I've seen Sinistra a few times, and my opinions are almost changing a little bit.
A little bit. It looks
Same.
better when it moves around. I like how it mixes his body. It's
Have
still
you
ugly
seen it
though.
use its signature move?
No, I haven't still, but I
It
just
will
'cause
mix
I want to get out
itself.
my hate.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, I want to get.
You
want to
get
tweets first, like because I've already written a whole bunch of things about how I hate this thing.
Soul
and
is
now it's
like a
changing.
writer, like an author of a book. He's
It's
going
true.
to do his hate arc, and then he's going to do his redemption arc.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's good.
You're
I like
so
that.
Right.
I respect it.
I use this is a secret. This is only for hidden power people. Like I don't know. I'm gonna be like gonna post something good about it eventually because
He's gonna post bad things. Everybody comment when he posts something bad about Sinistra. Post under it. We know you're lying.
Yeah, you should probably. But anyway, Poltergeist, I still at the head of a man, and I'm never gonna like that because I've seen it every which way. Anyway, Lumi. Your team.
I'm boring. I rotated.
You rotated? What do you mean?
You kind of have to rotate a little bit in this game. That is one thing about Scarlet and Violet that I do not enjoy. That you don't really have a set team. You're still always rotating. But anyway,
why do you rotate?
I just used Pokemon that like I was like it would be fun to use this for a little bit now. Not like I hate when I hate to rotate teams like I'm not the kind of guy who will walk into a grass gym and be like, okay, well, since I'm rotating my team and this is a grass gym, I'm now going to bring all fire types. I like to use matchups that are fun, not good, fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're battling a Scizor, I want to bring Heracross. So it's Heracross versus Scizor. But Leavanny was consistently on my team. I brought in my Leavanny from home and used him. He stayed on the team. I caught a Minfu and used that, and it evolved into Minshao, and I used that. That stayed on the team. And then I also had a Frigibax egg, and it hatched, and it went to Arctibax. It actually never evolved to Baxcalibur, though. And then the rest I just kind of rotated around. So it was like that core 3, and then the rest just kind of got swapped. Oh, Dipplin too. Dipplin was like a core 4.
Okay.
And then the other two I swapped around.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have a Dipplin yet, but I just haven't evolved it yet.
Yeah,
but you're right. Yeah,
it's funny how like our teams change from like when we're anticipating the game, how they actually end up being. I did not think I was gonna use 3 Kanto Pokemon, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, I really wanted to use either a Totodile or a Bulbasaur, but then when the trailer came out at Worlds that the starters were returning and Indigo Disc, I was like, ooh, that probably is the death of that dream. So
well, you can do it. You can definitely do it in the future, though. That's the thing, right? Like you could theoretically play through Paldea with Bulbasaur. You could do that in the future.
I mean, I probably won't, but yeah.
You could. This
is a good segue too for what we talked about in the Lost episode that I wanted to go back to, which is the people that reset their games for this. Yeah. I was having the thought yesterday, do I actually like DLC 3rd version?
Yeah.
It's like
you had said that like Game Freak excels at DLC versus 3rd versions.
Right. I think that their bread and butter is like this smaller scope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this DLC feels so good. This is the actual first impression. Like the land looks good. It feels like an area in Pokemon Legends Arceus to me.
Yeah.
Like another area, which is just great. I really like it a lot. But I'm just like, do I wish that I was forced to buy a whole new version and play through the entire Scarlet and Violet over and then play this? Because it makes it so much longer. Like I'm not forcing myself to play fast or slow, but there's people that beat this game in like 1 to 2 hours, and I'm just like it hurts me to have waited from February all the way till now, and then it be over in like a flash, like a blink of an eye. It's done. I've hyped all of this up, and then it's just gone. I can't do that. So it's just like I don't know which I would like
guess that I stretched it out to probably between like 8 to 10 hours.
I mean, that's probably how long I 9 hours.
I played for 9 hours. I think also like a lot of that though is like talking to. I was live streaming, so like a lot of it's like talking to the audience and then like just randomly doing laps and exploring. There's a lot of exploring. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember if it was this episode or the last episode, but like Zach was saying how like big the world felt, and I think it is big. I think it feels a lot bigger though because there's a lot. The beauty of the Scarlet and Violet open world is that you can go up and you can go down and you can cross over a mountain and then go in a tunnel and then pop out where you were before. There's so much traversal.
It feels so much less bland than
it does.
Scarlet and Violet's world.
SV had a lot of
specifically southern Paldea, other than the little canyon area with Cloth, is very like it's just kind of okay. Well, this is a lot of the same. That's what it felt like to me.
There's a lot of fields.
But yeah, but like, you know, there's some fields in Kitakami, but they still find a way to diversify them up. Like you have one field where there's the rice paddies. You have one where it's going by that little river and you're seeing the Poliwhirl swim by you. The Lombre are attacking you, which is kind of horrifying. And then you have the wistful fields where like you can see the wind moving the grass and, you know, it's sloped and everything. So it felt better than their grassy areas felt better than Paldea's grassy areas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's more focused. It feels like
focus is a great word.
I said this in the Lost one. I don't know if Omori actually directed this, or even wrote the story because it just feels like a lot better. I'd be impressed if Omori did this.
My guess is that he didn't because DLC was handled by a different director in Galler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it goes back to what
it's impressive so far.
You know when we'll know that?
It usually comes from certain sources of people.
See, I remember like
I forget who they are. So
Game Freak's just marketing style has been like so different because like I remember with Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra, they announced the DLC and literally said, "Okay, now we're going to switch over to the DLC's director." You know, insert director here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and it literally cut to him, and he started talking about the DLC. So they like announced it right like up front.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they do it. Another reason why it might not be Omori is because he usually will like tweet it out. He'll be like, "Oh, go check this out," and he hasn't said anything about it. So I don't think it's
rude, Omori.
I know, but it's just I don't. We've talked about it on the podcast before. I don't have as much confidence in his leadership style. He's a good guy. Whatever. I have nothing against him.
I think he handles. He does not handle news stories well, but I think he is excellent. One of the best, genuinely, at we already have this is a thing that's already been done. We just want you to redo it in a better way. Because he did Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. He did Oris. I mean, both of those, that was an incredible remake and an incredible third version.
Was he the director on Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon? I don't think so, actually. I think he was.
I'll look it up.
I think he was Sun and Moon, like the original one. And then the Ultra Sun and Moon, he was like supporting on it, but I don't think he was the director.
Oh, anyway, you're right. You're right. Yeah. It was Ewau the Goat. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He did something else. There was another game that Omori did that was like, again, it was like just expanding on the first thing. Either way, Oris is a great thing to have under your belt. That was an amazing remake. So he shows that he is capable at making a good game. I just think when he's having to balance doing everything new, because Hoenn, you know, it's pretty much the food's already made for you. You just kind of have to put it on a plate, right?
Yeah.
But when he's having to cook from scratch, he just slips up.
Yeah. I don't know though. So I'd be impressed if it was him. Like I'll give him props.
Oh yeah, right? Definitely.
I always thought that this DLC would be better than the actual base game, like just like Sword and Shield, because someone else is working on it.
Man.
But yeah, we should make these guys the bigger guys. But I think that it's a different task. You know, you can't really it's the right word, like pit them against each other because it's a whole different animal to do an entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to give him credit too. But yeah, back to my point. I don't know.
He did game design of Black 2 and White 2. That's what I was thinking.
There you go. But I think he was. Yeah, he was. It wasn't director.
Director was game design.
Mm-hmm.
The only director things he's done is he was the planning director for X and Y, but he was the full director of Oris, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet.
There you go.
Yeah. I think you make a great point. So this game this DLC feels focused, and I would love to see, more whether it's DLCs or full games. I would love to see more of this. Every single game that they put out in the last 5 years that has been focused, I think has been also a fan favorite. Whether it's I was gonna say Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but that's super divisive. That is focused though, and you could argue that it's polished and it delivers what it wants to deliver.
It's polished. It delivers.
Yeah,
It's
it
really
right.
with
Maybe you
Let's
don't
Go
like
Pikachu
it.
and Eevee, it's a debate of concept. Execution was objectively great.
Beautiful. So that's to my point. Legends Arceus is another thing. It's a smaller world. It's a small concept. It's kind of a grand story, but it does feel, I don't know, it feels like an interpersonal story rather than you're just defeating all the bad guys, right? And I think this kind of fits it's kind of in there, right? And we also haven't seen the end of the DLC. We could return to Kitakami with a couple of other things. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that I like that this is a new area near all of these things that we've seen in the past. I like that it's another Japanese region that is near all of these other Pokemon Japanese regions. I think that is so cool. I kind of wish we saw more character crossover. Actually, that's not even true. We have seen character crossover. Maybe not characters we've seen before, but we are seeing that, the two rivals, they're from Unova, right? We're seeing that Perrin is from Sinnoh, right?
Well, and we already know from leaks that there's more of that in Blueberry Academy that are more direct.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't even think this one's a leak. Drayton is Drayden's grandson or something.
Yeah,
he's related to
I'm
Drayden.
fully confident that they're all from Unova.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they
Unova.
are. But I'm saying there are more where it's not as obvious. But Drayton, if it is news to you that Drayton is related to Drayden, then you just must not have been paying attention.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
So
also, the two rivals are from Kitakami, Dusty.
Yeah, they're from Kitakami, but they go to a school.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they go to the school. Yeah. You know what I noticed? A lot of the characters, almost have Southern accents. Like they do, because the dialogue is written out with apostrophes and abbreviations, etc. And when I'm
something to do,
I noticed, Kieran said "and," but he said "an" apostrophe.
Yeah, and to me it reads as Southern United States.
I think they did that on purpose because of that specific.
I'm gonna catch an okidogi, y'all.
Yeah, exactly, right.
That specific region in Japan has their own kind of little accent. So I
think
do. That's
cool.
what Kokutsutami was saying.
Okay.
Online, and I think that they just tried to translate that over into
what
it would be for us.
Okay.
Japanese, yeah.
No,
that's cool.
Obviously, it makes sense in Japanese, but for
that's what I'm saying. I'm sure it's better in Japanese. It's more obvious what they're going for.
Yeah,
I'm glad we did this episode over because now I get to say that I am Carmine's strongest soldier. I am number one.
Dude, she's awful. She's such a bully, dude.
Kieran's the worst.
What are you talking about?
This girl
Kieran's
Kieran's
a sad little boy.
Play the story. Kieran can jump off a bridge.
Get him out
dude,
of here.
Kieran he needs our sympathy. He's like Wally 2.0.
Nope.
And his sister
play the game.
Listen, his sister's a bully. All she does is lie to him, talk behind his back.
No, she cares about him. She calls him Kiki. I love it.
I love that, dude. That's true. She does care about him a little bit. It's complex.
I
do like Kiki.
Anger issues.
Yeah, she goes, "I'm gonna stuff a coughing down your throat."
Literally shake when she's mad.
That's pretty good. That's but first impression is I'm enjoying the game. I'm still playing it. I got more to explore. I guess, I don't know. I wish we still had the first episode. I think we recapped most of it, but
I think we did recap it pretty well. How do you feel about DLC versus third version? I'll ask you that question because you were ask people in the chat or in the in the replies.
I prefer DLC. I do think there is merit to third versions in that, like you said, Soul, it forces you to restart. The thing with me that I worry about the most is I like competitive battling, so I stock up on items, I stock up on Terra Shards, I stock up on all the things that you need for competitive. And I did 100% my dex, so I have the shiny charm, and it's okay, well, if I restart for this DLC, I have to do all of that over, and I don't know if that's worth that. So
Yeah, I would never do that. That's why
right.
the third version is like, okay, I don't have to do that. I
But
just get all this stuff.
that said, in my opinion, no third version they've given us has compared to the amount of content they have given us in
Naturally.
DLCs.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get that. But at the same time,
You think
it's
there's
not
been more
that
content in
much
DLCs?
more. It's not that much more.
Yeah,
me.
but I think maybe what it is better. Like for example, in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, there wasn't many new areas. I think there was like a Pikachu park, and then there was it's mainly new features. The focus
Ultra
is on
Moon,
Mantine surfing and the little Ultra Wormholes mini game. And for the record, you could go to other like planets, but they were pretty small.
Yeah.
But
I think
meanwhile in DLC we got a brand new region, and we're about to go to Unova.
Yeah. I
It does
think
have- just the last thing, Dusty, it does have one like never mind, go for it. I forgot my point.
I just feel like when we had third versions, that was also like a decade ago, right? All the new
that's
content,
exactly what I was gonna say.
all the new content we're getting
God.
now is
Yeah.
is like from this era of Game Freak where they're
Good
like
job.
continuing to break things. So I think if you were to get a third version in this era, it could look a lot different, right? I still think I think Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is probably a bad example because it's like they were
hard
like
to compare.
this is an alternate dimension, but it's like the same game. Every game you play is an alternate dimension. So it really wasn't that much different. I think Emerald is a better example where everything's polished and there's new things and the plot changes.
They didn't have the same capabilities though. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
Yeah.
it's hard to compare that. Like
I think that's true, but my counterpoint would be I still don't think, because third versions, they enhance on the themes and the story of the original game. And the beauty of DLC is it's like what we talked about earlier. It's a break from the original game.
Sure.
So I don't know that a third version of Scarlet and Violet, I don't know that a Pokemon Green or whatever would not the old Green,
Viridian
but,
or
like whatever they'd call it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would
Teal
do Kitakami and even Blueberry Academy, because Blueberry Academy, yes, it will probably focus very heavily on the themes and stories in Scarlet and Violet, but Kitakami doesn't. Kitakami is its own separate thing, so I don't think they would give us that. They would give us a big new area the size of Kitakami, but I do like this idea of, it's kind of like how when Fire Red was released, it was, you had the Hoenn games, you had Ruby and Sapphire, then you went to Kanto, then you go back to Hoenn and Emerald. And it feels like that. We played Paldea and Scarlet and Violet. We're going to go to Kitakami, which is a break from Scarlet and Violet. But then in Indigo Disc, we're going to go back to Scarlet and Violet and be revisiting those things.
Yeah, I was gonna say the DLC. The benefit of a DLC is that you don't have to buy 3 games to have that experience.
That's also true.
But back in the day, a game was like $35, right?
It's different.
That's also true.
It is different, but
that it. In thinking about it more, it's both parts that you have to count though too. So like it is both Kitakami and the Indigo Disc that we have to count as the content, because in that sense it is more than what a third.
Yeah,
it's just the whole point of you go through the whole experience again, and it makes it more full to me. That's really all I'm saying.
Oh, and
you can leave it in the replies what you guys think that are listening to this.
Also, let us know. We asked this question in the last episode, but we're curious. Let us know if y'all restarted DLC, or if you restarted the game to play through the DLC, or if you used the same save file you beat Scarlet and Violet with and just played through the DLC as if it was post game.
I also think like when I'm most nostalgic about like playing a Pokemon game, right? It's usually Johto, it's usually Heart Gold, Soul Silver, so we'll use that as an example. What I'm most nostalgic for is like the first like 2 hours of gameplay, right? When I have a team of 6 and it's like Caterpie and my starter and a Sentret and a Hoot and a Pidgey and maybe a Geodude, right? And it's like
all
I think
Gen 1.
Yeah, all Gen. Well, Sentret's not.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Well, that's what you get in Johto, but what I'm saying is like, or I think of Hoenn, right? You have that full team of 6, and they level up so quickly. You can very easily get them all to like level 10 to 15, and it's so fun. And it's like it's just kind of like a boiled down version of a Pokemon experience. In the beginning, it's always a fresh new start. I love that so much. Even though it's like the chances of getting a shiny is always the same. I'm always like, fresh new game. Maybe I'm gonna get a shiny early. Ooh, like I feel like so. I say that because I think when you do get a third version, you're able to, for me, replay that start, right? It's a fresh new start, and then you get to play through the entire game again.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to decide. I don't know if we'll get to the controversies that have been hitting this DLC, but in this same vein, people have been comparing this to the Isle of Armor. I don't know. I wanted to see what you guys thought, because to me, it's like it's incomparable to me. I don't know.
I thought the Isle of Armor had a really unique things, but I guess this does as well.
I really liked the Isle of Armor, but I'd prefer this if not for the fact that it's bigger.
I like the location better. Yeah. And I also think
it's so different. It's like it's just a different open world feel. It's like
there was like no story in Isle of Armor.
This, you know?
Yeah, that's another thing. Isle of Armor was a very no stakes story.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was really just kind of like train if you want.
Yeah, they sold it to us.
There was conflict. There is a plot.
It was just one big wild area too, right? That was like the first time they were like, here's a big area that's all one area, which is actually that is what we ended up getting in Gen 9, so that's kind of cool.
For me, it's like it walked so that this could run. You know what I mean? And
it
feels like
absolutely
the story of it is more akin to Crown Tundra's like Calyrex story, which is great because that was like the best part of that. But I don't know. I've seen so much hate for it. I'm like, bro, I don't hate the Isle of Armor. It got us here.
The Isle of Armor. I thoroughly enjoyed the Isle of Armor. I love the Isle of Armor. I like Kitakami better. That does not mean I do not like Isle of Armor.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, when people compare, they just start hating. So I was
people have a very, what is it from Anakin Skywalker? If you're not with me, then you are my enemy. That's how people are.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
If I like this one more, then I hate the other. Yeah. It's like, the thing, I've mentioned this on here before, but the most perfect thing about the internet is that like it's the only place you can say, I like pancakes, and
you don't like waffles.
People will be like, "You don't like waffles?" And it's like, no, that's a whole other sentence.
Yeah, so you don't like Diplin? No, I like Diplin. You don't like Flapple? No, I don't like Flapple.
Oh, so you hate Appleton then?
Yeah.
Literally. The last thing I'll say about first impressions is I have experienced 0 bugs. I don't know. People have been going on about it, but I've had little freezes. Like little frame rate drops. Here and there.
But that's in the main game too.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a ton of people saying things happen still, and I'm just like,
I
don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure it still happens a bit. I have not had any glaring issues. The only thing I've had is like sometimes, especially when I'm moving fast, like if I'm running on Koraidon, it'll like for a moment, like it'll kind of freeze.
Yeah.
And then keep going, Like our Discord does sometimes, honestly. Like
all the time
on here.
Yeah.
Literally all the time. It's like a Discord experience.
Right.
But we'll have to talk about that more in another episode.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this extra episode. You'll never hear the lost episode. It feels good. Like we're a podcast now. Or like it's an official podcast. We have a lost episode. I like that. I mean, I wish you guys could have heard the original.
Here, though, I think
we did. Oh yeah, we did. There's things. The cool thing is like it's kind of like a rough draft, right? Like there were things that we brought up here that we forgot to bring up there.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Details in that one though too.
Yeah. We went a little more into it, because we didn't want to do the 30-minute long explanations of our teams twice.
Yeah,
that's true. So we will have a new episode on Thursday. That's going to be the classic episode. Probably going to be second impressions, etc. And then also a lot of theories. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're listening, leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, etc. That really does help quite a bit. I can't believe how many people of you are listening off of YouTube. I think of myself as a YouTube creator, so I love that you guys are actually tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We hope you're enjoying the Teal Mask. Send this video to a friend. We'll see you soon. Peace out.
Send us pictures.
Yeah, send us pictures. Send us your shinies. Tag us on Twitter. See ya.